Step back into the golden era of television with the Dick Van Dyke Show, 1961 to 1966, a groundbreaking sitcom that redefined comedy and brought unforgettable characters into our homes. While the show remains a beloved classic, time has taken its toll on the talented cast who brought it to life. In this video, we look back at the actors who made us laugh, think, and feel, and who have sadly passed away, some under tragic or heartbreaking circumstances. From on-screen legends to behind-the-scenes struggles, we honor their legacies, reflect on their contributions, and remember the people behind the laughter. Don't miss this emotional tribute to the stars of a television masterpiece. Rosemary was born on August 15, 1923, and played the role of Sally Rogers in 1961 at the age of 38. Off-screen, Rosemary's life carried shadows few knew. A child star dubbed Baby Rosemary, she was thrust into the spotlight early, and allegedly under the thumb of mob figures who controlled her bookings and sabotaged her autonomy for decades. She often hinted at being monitored and manipulated during her youth, even claiming that her manager had ties to the mafia and that she had been forced to perform under threat. Her career saw surges, but she was notoriously blackballed by powerful figures in the 50s for refusing sexual advances and speaking her mind. Despite her comic genius, she was frequently passed over for bigger roles, leading to a bitter resentment of certain executives in Hollywood. In her personal life, she faced isolation after the death of her husband in 1964 and raised her daughter largely alone. Rose was known to hold grudges and clashed with colleagues who questioned her authority. She died on December 28, 2017, at the age of 94. Carl Reiner was born on March 20, 1922, and portrayed Alan Brady in 1961 at age 39. Brady was arrogant, flamboyant, and domineering, traits Reiner reportedly channeled from his own fiery personality during the show's production. Behind his public image of a genial mentor, Reiner was known in early Hollywood circles for his ruthless ambition. Crew members whispered of his tense fallouts with writers who challenged his vision. One such incident in 1964 allegedly led to a writer's dismissal after Reiner demanded loyalty over creativity. While married for over 6 decades, he was rumored to have had emotional entanglements with younger protégés, relationships cloaked in mentorship but speculated to be more. His progressive politics, though applauded publicly, often masked deep rivalries and behind-the-scenes power plays, including the sidelining of actors he found comedically tone-deaf. Though revered in later years, Reiner was not without enemies. Some saw him as a gatekeeper who suppressed emerging voices. Carl Reiner died of natural causes on June 29, 2020, at the age of 98. Morrie Amsterdam was born on December 14, 1908, and took on the role of Buddy Sorrell in 1961 at age 53. Buddy was the class clown of the writing staff, sharp-tongued and relentless with his barbs, especially toward Mel. But Morrie's cheery exterior belied a past tinged with danger. He got his start in the gritty underworld of Prohibition-era Chicago, playing in a speakeasy reportedly run by Al Capone, a fact he later admitted with a mixture of pride and caution. Rumors swirled that Morrie carried mob favors into his early TV career, and he was known for using connections to undercut rivals, sometimes even writing smear jokes about competitors into his acts. Despite a prolific output, some claimed his habit of lifting punchlines from unknown comics led to backstage feuds and quiet blackballings. He also had a difficult home life. Colleagues whispered about his domineering temperament and estrangement from one of his children. In later years, his failing health and bitterness over being typecast left him withdrawn. He died of a heart attack on October 28, 1996, at age 87. Jerry Paris was born on July 25, 1925, and played Jerry Helper in 1961 at age 36. Though Jerry Helper was witty and mild-mannered, Jerry Paris was a perfectionist whose obsessive control on set strained relationships with colleagues. After transitioning into directing, Paris clashed repeatedly with producers due to his erratic behavior and unpredictable mood swings, fueled by a hidden dependence on prescription amphetamines during the 1960s. His obsession with being taken seriously as a director often led to outbursts, and multiple actors later recalled his manipulative tactics and passive-aggressive threats. In his personal life, Paris's marriage was marked by infidelity and long separations. He had a well-hidden affair with a younger actress on another sitcom he directed. His 2 children became estranged as he withdrew emotionally during his later years. Friends noted his bitterness over being overshadowed by bigger stars like Van Dyke, and his late career frustrations manifested in heavy drinking and isolation. Jerry Paris died on March 31, 1986, at the age of 60, from complications following brain tumor surgeries. And Morgan Gilbert was born on October 16, 1928, and stepped into the role of Millie Helper in 1961 at age 33. Millie was bubbly, nosy, and an eternal optimist, the type of friend everyone tolerates more than treasures. But Anne's own life was defined by quiet turbulence. Though she kept a low profile, her marriage to producer George Eckstein was said to be fraught with jealousy and professional resentment. Friends noted her frustration at being typecast as the best friend and never the star, despite her theater chops. In the 70s, she suffered a nervous breakdown, which she kept hidden from the press. Her 2 daughters became actresses, but Anne reportedly disapproved of their career paths, causing long-term rifts. There were whispers of intense stage mom behavior in her early years, pushing her children with the same harsh discipline she endured from her own domineering mother. Diagnosed with cancer late in life, she continued acting until her final days. She died on June 14, 2016, at the age of 87. Jerry Housener, born May 20, 1909, played Charlie in 1962 at age 53. Charlie was a minor yet memorable figure, adding humor and warmth to scenes, but Housener's real-life story was far more complicated. Known primarily for his voice work and dialogue directing, Housener faced repeated clashes with producers over his methods and casting decisions, sparking rumors of behind-the-scenes manipulations. His personal life was plagued by a bitter and public divorce in the late 1950s, which exposed his gambling addiction and volatile temper. This addiction drained much of his savings and led to tense relationships with colleagues and family alike. Despite his versatility and talent, these struggles kept him on the fringes of stardom. Housener's health declined in later years, exacerbated by years of stress and addiction. He died quietly of heart failure on April 1, 1993 at 83, his career overshadowed by personal demons that rarely made headlines. Richard Deacon was born on May 14, 1922, and began portraying Mel Cooley in 1961 at age 39. Mel was the butt of everyone's jokes, stiff, pompous, and always in a panic. In contrast, Deacon's personal life was almost entirely concealed, and that secrecy fed speculation. A lifelong bachelor, he faced constant rumors about his sexuality in an era when such revelations could destroy a career. He remained closeted, but insiders claimed his reclusive lifestyle stemmed from years of being forced to hide his identity under studio pressure. While known as a professional on set, he had a reputation for being unapproachable and cold, reportedly refusing interviews and public appearances. He channeled his energy into writing cookbooks and avoided Hollywood parties entirely. A perfectionist with few close friends, Deacon was described by some co-stars as lonely, but proud. He died of heart failure on August 8, 1984, at age 62, alone in his home. Mary Tyler Moore was born on December 29, 1936, and played Laura Petrie beginning in 1961, when she was just 24. Laura was graceful, progressive, and seemingly perfect, the ideal 1960s suburban wife with a witty twist. But Mary's real life bore deep emotional scars. Beneath the polished exterior was a woman reeling from personal destruction. She battled alcoholism for decades, hiding it even while filming her groundbreaking sitcoms. Her only son, Richie Meeker, died tragically from an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound at 24, a trauma Mary never recovered from. She endured 2 divorces and reportedly had a distant, often cold relationship with family members, including her own mother. Industry insiders whispered about her clashes with co-stars and her ruthless perfectionism, which led to firing longtime collaborators. Her battle with diabetes consumed much of her later life, leaving her nearly blind and frail. She died on January 25, 2017, at the age of 80, from cardiopulmonary arrest due to complications from aspiration pneumonia and diabetes. Herbie Fay was born on February 2, 1899, and portrayed Willie in 1962 at age 63. His bumbling charm belied a lifetime of backstage resentment and an appetite for vice. Fay, a vaudeville holdover, resented the rise of television and considered most sitcom actors cheap imitators. During the Van Dyke era, he was known for storming off set if given fewer than 3 lines. A compulsive gambler, he blew most of his early film earnings on horse racing and poker, even borrowing money from young co-stars. His longtime companion, a showgirl 30 years his junior, left him after a public brawl in a Vegas club, during which Fay allegedly slapped her and was briefly jailed. Though he never had children, Fay was sued by 2 different women in the 1950s for paternity, both cases dismissed under suspicious terms. Despite the gruffness, he had a loyal friendship with Phil Silvers, though even that was tested when Fay demanded shared credit for a sketch he didn't write. Herbie Fay died of heart failure on June 28, 1980, at age 81. Alan Melvin was born on February 18, 1923, and joined the Dick Van Dyke Show in 1961 at age 38 as Sam Pomerantz. On screen, he was cheerful and affable, but off-screen, Melvin carried the scars of a career derailed by typecasting and quiet personal torment. Known for his warm, paternal image on shows like The Brady Bunch, Melvin privately battled severe anxiety and stage fright, which he self-medicated with alcohol, often arriving to set after a few nips. He was notoriously controlling during voiceover sessions, sometimes forcing retakes for hours, and clashed with animators and directors over creative decisions. Though married, Melvin was rumored to have had multiple affairs during location shoots, and his only daughter later distanced herself from him, citing emotional neglect. A 1977 lawsuit filed by a former assistant alleging emotional abuse was quietly settled out of court and buried by Melvin's PR team. Though never criminally charged, whispers of workplace bullying lingered. He died on January 17, 2008, from cancer, at the age of 84. Amzie Strickland was born on January 10, 1919, and played Aunt Mildred in 1963 at age 44. Her prim, intrusive character mirrored the real-life iron grip she maintained over her personal and professional circles. Behind her genteel facade was a shrewd actress with a reputation for sabotaging younger women on set, once reportedly threatening to expose a co-star's affair if she didn't give up a role. Known for her photographic memory and surgical delivery, Strickland was also infamous for berating crew members she deemed incompetent. Her marriage to actor Frank Behrens was marred by jealousy and public spats. He once accused her of emotional cruelty during a drunken awards ceremony argument. Despite appearing in over 650 shows, Strickland was bitter about never landing a leading role. In her final decade, as Alzheimer's set in, her paranoia intensified, and she alienated most of her peers with wild accusations and late-night calls. Amzie Strickland died on July 5, 2006, at age 87, from complications related to Alzheimer's. Jerry Van Dyke, born July 27, 1931, portrayed Stacy Petrie starting in 1962 at age 31, the goofy, well-meaning but accident-prone younger brother. Jerry's career was a mix of modest successes and missed opportunities, most notably his infamous rejection of the role of Gilligan on Gilligan's Island, a choice he later deeply regretted as it could have vaulted him to stardom. His personal life was fraught with turmoil, multiple divorces marred by public accusations of infidelity, bouts of alcoholism, and strained relationships with his children. Behind his affable public image, insiders reported mood swings, clashes with producers, and difficulty maintaining professional relationships, which limited his roles. A serious car accident in his later years compounded his physical decline, and he battled health issues until his death on January 5, 2018 at 86. Jerry's life was a complex blend of charm, regret, and personal demons hidden beneath his comedic exterior. Sandy Kenyon, born August 5, 1922, played the allergist in 1962 at age 40. Though his screen time was brief, Kenyon's ability to make small parts memorable was notable. A World War II veteran, he struggled with PTSD that profoundly affected his personal life, contributing to volatile marriages marked by emotional abuse and erratic temper. While respected for his professionalism on camera, off-camera insiders whispered about his heavy drinking and occasional violent outbursts during filming, often triggered by stress and unresolved trauma from the war. His battle with mental health was a quiet undercurrent, rarely discussed publicly, but his relationships suffered greatly. Despite these personal demons, he remained dedicated to his craft, voicing iconic characters like John Arbuckle and appearing in numerous TV shows. Kenyon died peacefully on February 20, 2010 at 87, his legacy shadowed by the invisible wounds he carried. Bill Idolson, born August 21, 1919, portrayed Herman Glimcher starting in 1963 at 44, the painfully shy mama's boy with a nasal voice, often used for comic relief. Off-screen, Idolson's life was far less charming. Though he gained respect as a writer for acclaimed shows, his career was shadowed by several contentious disputes over intellectual property, leading to whispered blacklisting attempts in the industry. His personal life was riddled with 2 bitter divorces and alienation from his children, who publicly accused him of emotional neglect and controlling behavior. Colleagues described Idolson as quietly manipulative, someone who carefully guarded his position by undermining rivals. Despite his genial on-screen persona, his private life revealed a man struggling with deep insecurities and strained relationships. He died on December 31, 2007 at 88 due to complications from a hip injury, his professional accomplishments often overshadowed by his personal controversies. Bernard Fox, born May 11, 1927, embraced the role of Mr. Caldwell in 1964 at age 37, delivering a theatrical, pompous British eccentric whose flair delighted audiences. Fox's career glittered with success, but beneath the charm lay a man haunted by demons. Despite his polished veneer, Bernard was known for a volatile temper and a penchant for excessive drinking that caused friction with colleagues and jeopardized roles. His personal life was no less chaotic, marked by a bitter divorce that spiraled into a public spectacle involving custody battles and allegations of infidelity. Additionally, Bernard endured years of tension with former military comrades, a legacy of his Royal Navy service, which some say contributed to his struggles with authority and trust. He faced several lawsuits from disgruntled co-stars and crew members who accused him of manipulation and intimidation. Bernard died of heart failure on December 14, 2016 at 89, leaving behind a legacy complicated by brilliance and bouts of darkness. Arthur Batonites, born April 9, 1923, played the quirky Arnold in 1963 at age 40, injecting neurotic charm and eccentric flair into the series. Arnold's jittery and awkward persona provided comic relief but also masked Batonites' own off-screen turbulence. Despite a steady stream of roles, Arthur's career was riddled with setbacks, including being blacklisted briefly in the late 50s over alleged political affiliations and enduring constant typecasting as the nervous sidekick. His personal life was marred by a volatile marriage that ended in a bitter, public divorce scandal involving accusations of infidelity and emotional abuse. friends whispered of his struggles with alcohol and gambling addictions, which further strained relationships and led to erratic behavior on set. Though he never faced criminal charges, tensions with fellow actors were reportedly high, fueling on-set conflicts. He died on January 10, 2000 at 76 quietly of natural causes, far from the Hollywood spotlight he never fully escaped. Peter Hobbs, born January 19, 1918, played Bill Sampson in 1964 at age 46. Bill was a composed, steady presence with subtle humor, fitting Hobbs's typical on-screen persona, but behind the scenes, his life was less serene. Despite a decorated military service in World War II, Hobbs struggled with the transition to Hollywood, battling typecasting that stifled his range. Rumors circulated about his hidden battles with alcoholism, which allegedly led to missed auditions and strained relationships with producers. His personal life was fraught with turmoil. A bitter, protracted divorce left him estranged from his children, and close friends whispered about his deep loneliness in later years. Industry insiders recalled his occasional mood swings and reclusive tendencies, contrasting sharply with his calm screen demeanor. Peter Hobbs died peacefully at home in Santa Monica on January 2, 2011, aged 92, but those closest to him knew of the private battles beneath the surface. Dabbs Greer, born April 2, 1917, appeared as Chaplain Berger in 1962 at 45, portraying a figure of calm and spiritual solace who offered warmth amid turmoil. Off-camera, however, Dabbs lived a surprisingly solitary life, never marrying and reputedly estranged from most family. Despite a career spanning 5 decades, his path was punctuated by missed opportunities and professional frustrations, often cast in minor, typecast roles that never allowed him true stardom. Behind the humble demeanor, sources revealed Dabbs had a notoriously stubborn streak, refusing to adapt to changing industry demands, which reportedly alienated younger producers and directors. Rumors circulated of a troubled relationship with coworkers, including unreported incidents of outbursts and passive-aggressive behavior on set. His final years were overshadowed by declining health due to kidney and heart disease, which led to his passing on April 28, 2007 at 90. Dabbs left behind an image of humility but hid a more complex, sometimes difficult personality. Ken Lynch, born July 15, 1910, portrayed George Mathias in 1962 at age 52. George's stern, commanding presence perfectly suited Lynch's typical roles, but off-screen, his life was riddled with volatility and unrest. His marriage was fraught with public accusations of infidelity, leading to a bitter divorce that exposed his more controlling, darker nature. Lynch struggled privately with chronic depression and a debilitating gambling addiction, which drained not only his finances but also fueled frequent, intense mood swings. Several cast and crew members recalled his intimidating behavior on set, outbursts, harsh criticisms, and a demand for strict discipline made him difficult to work with. Despite a steady stream of roles, these personal struggles cast a long shadow over his later years, isolating him from colleagues and loved ones. His reputation as a tough, no-nonsense figure belied the fragile man battling inner demons. Lynch succumbed to a viral infection on February 13, 1990 at age 79, leaving behind a legacy complicated by the contrast between his professional authority and private chaos. Doris Singleton, born September 29, 1919, played Doris Darwell in 1962 at age 43. Doris's on-screen elegance and sharp wit belied a private life riddled with hardship and control. Married early to a domineering husband, Singleton struggled for decades to assert herself both personally and professionally, reportedly enduring emotional manipulation that curtailed her career ambitions. Colleagues whispered of her tense, sometimes cold demeanor on set, suggesting a woman hardened by years of personal sacrifice and resentment. Her relationship with her only child was reportedly fraught with distance and misunderstanding, fueled by Singleton's single-minded pursuit of career survival in a male-dominated industry. Rumors of behind-the-scenes salary disputes and power struggles further complicated her image. Doris Singleton passed quietly in Los Angeles on June 26, 2012 at age 92, leaving behind a story of resilience shadowed by silent suffering. Herb Vigron, born June 5, 1910, took on multiple roles including Alfred Reinbeck and Bernie Quinn in 1962 at age 52. While his gravelly voice and reliable character work made him a familiar, steady presence on screen, Vigron's private life was rife with scandal and turmoil. He engaged in a long-running, clandestine affair with a married actress, which ignited rumors of emotional manipulation, threats, and even blackmail, events that rocked the more discreet corners of Hollywood social circles. Alongside this, Vigron battled a worsening compulsive gambling problem, leading to severe financial difficulties and fractured relationships with close friends and family. Those who worked with him described moments of ruthlessness and controlling behavior, making him notorious for being difficult behind the scenes despite his professionalism in front of the camera. These hidden struggles shaped his later years, tarnishing his otherwise prolific career. Vigron died of cancer in Los Angeles on November 29, 1986 at age 76, leaving behind a complicated legacy that only fully surfaced after his death. Who's your favorite character in the Dick Van Dyke Show? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.